So I just seen this post on Instagram, and I just wanted to talk about it real quick, man, because it's funny to me. And I be seeing women in general talking about it a little bit, kind of like complaining and crying about it. It's funny to me. It's funny to me that these women, right? The post that I seen, I'm gonna put that as my thumbnail of the video. But these women, man, they be crying and complaining because not all the time, but a lot of the times. Um, you see older men in their 30s or men in their 40s and 50s, and a lot of times these men typically they usually go for younger women. They'll date women in their late teens, 20s. You know what I'm saying? In their 20s and shit like that. Just getting out of high school or getting in college and stuff like that. And it makes sense, man, because women's prime years usually start early. A man's prime usually starts later on. And I've been watching videos on that. I've been watching content with dudes talking about that, and it's true because it's literally something that you can observe out here in society. A woman's prime usually it begins at around 18, 19. And this is true because it's literally something that you could literally, if you pay attention, you can literally observe this within our society, within Western society. It's literally something that you can literally observe and witness. A man's prime as a man, my prime probably won't start until around 35, 36, 37, like at the end of my 30s. This is the reality of how Western society operates. This is the reality. And you got some women who get in their feelings over it. I would assume it's probably, women that's in their 30s and 40s that usually typically get in their feelings over it. They'll notice that the men in their age group don't want them. They go for the younger women. Well, sweetie, I'm sorry to break it to you, but your prime years are over. Your prime years are over. Here's something else that I peeped out, though. That's the reality. And you got some women, and here's another thing I peeped out. You got some women that'll listen to a dude like me, because I'm only in my 20s, still in my 20s. I'm not even in my 30s yet. So my prime years are a little while away. I still got over a decade to go. I still got about a good decade and a half to go. You know, stereotypically speaking, but it's true. It has truth to it. Like it's literally something that you could literally observe. It's a fact. It's a fact. And I don't know why it's like that, but that's just how it goes, man. That's just how it is. You got some women that'll listen to a young dude like me and they'll get in their feelings. Why will they get in their feelings? Because I'll say things such as, for example, I done said this on my platform a few times. I'm really not interested in dating like that or being in a relationship until I'm older. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in my 20s. I don't plan on jumping into the dating scene really until like I'm in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? That's when I'll do it. That's when I'll do it. I still got 3 years left. 3 years left till I touch my 30s. So there's some things that I want to get done and I want to accomplish, and I know I'm going to accomplish it before my 20s are over with. And then when I get into my 30s, that's when my prime years are going to start to, you know what I'm saying? But it probably wouldn't be until the end of my 30s, beginning of my 40s. But my 30s, is when I want to jump into the dating world. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll do those things. I don't want to do that until I'm older. Now you got some women that'll listen to that and they'll get in their feelings. They'll feel some type of way. Why will they feel some type of way? Because deep down inside, they know that my prime years have yet to begin. Their prime years have already begun and they're probably already over with. That's why they're salty. That's why they're mad, because they know they're in their 30s. Even if they in their 20s, they already know like their time is about just about over with. Like that's a fact. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. I'm not. That's not to say that there's no older women out here that are still attractive and whatnot. Of course there is. Like that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying on an overall scale, yeah, man, your prime years are over by time you touch 30, you're over with. Even if you're still attractive as a woman, like you're still over with. Your prime is over with. You're done for. My prime is just beginning when I reach my 30s. When you reach your 30s, you're over with. When I reach my 30s, I'm just beginning. I'm just starting. We just getting started. See, that's why they mad. That's why you get these women and they'll hear a young dude like me say stuff like that and they'll get mad because they're probably a feminist and they don't want to see men, right, living out their best potential. They would rather me go out, find a woman that I'm probably not even all that attracted to. Like, you know what I'm saying? They want me to go out here and settle. They want me to find a woman to settle for instead of working on myself, building myself up. And then when I reach my prime years, I got the pick of whatever it is I want to get. Right now, I don't have the picks of everything I want to get because I'm not where I need to be at as a man. As a man, we're supposed to be the providers. We're supposed to be the protectors. Well, we know I probably won't be the best provider or the best protector that I could be when I'm in my 20s. Now, of course, you will get some men in their 20s to where they already on that level. Now, salute to them, but the average man is just not going to be there in their 20s. Now, salute to the dudes who did get there in their 20s. Shout out to you, salute to you, but I'm not you and they're not me. And that's just typically normally not how it goes. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to put money on it that a lot of those dudes that blew up in their teens and 20s, they're probably going to fall off by the time they touch their 30s and 40s. Maybe not all the time, but I'm willing to put money on it. Like you are early, I'd rather be a late bloomer than an early bloomer. Like, I'd rather blow up in my 30s rather than blow up in my 40s. I mean, excuse me, I would rather blow up in my 30s or 40s rather than blow up in my teens or 20s. You see what I'm saying? I'd rather my prime years come later. And that's the case for majority of men in Western society. That's how it goes. The woman's life begins early, the man's life begins a little bit later. But that's okay. I'd rather have it later. The best things come to those who wait. I'd rather wait. You know what I'm saying? And you got women that's in their feelings over it. You know what I'm saying? They got women that's in their feelings over it. Even on a biological standpoint. Like as a man, like if I just work on myself, stay healthy, train, work. So something I was going to say before I got cut off. I had to start the video up again. I was going to say that even from a biological standpoint, when you're looking at science and biology, we know that typically women, usually their eggs, all of their eggs, because the man, we have sperm and the woman has the egg. The woman's eggs are usually done for when she's about in her 30s, 40s, 50s. Now we know older women can get pregnant and give birth. It does happen. It can happen. It's possible. But we know normally that doesn't really happen a lot of times. And when it does happen, sometimes the baby doesn't even make it. You know what I'm saying? Like the woman's body, like on average, like it's really not even designed to even be pushing out babies after a certain age. But as a man, I don't get pregnant. I get the woman pregnant. I can continue having kids like my whole life up until my elderly years. I can still have children easily as long as I'm healthy. As long as I'm healthy and I take care of myself, you know what I'm saying? I can have kids into my 50s, 60s, 70s, no problem. No problem. So even on a biological standpoint, you can see like, it's not even, it's like, how could you even be upset? Like if I'm in my 40s, right? Which I'm not, I'm in my 20s, but let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say I was a man in his 40s, okay? Now, I waited, my, I waited up until my 40s to start dating, right? Like I'm in my 20s. I haven't dated my entire 20s. My entire 20s, I've been basically single. I didn't mess with some girls, but not like nothing, no like serious dating or any of that. My whole entire 20s, I've basically been single, been a bachelor. So now fast forward, I'm 40 years old. Now I want to go out there and I want to have kids, start a family, have a wife or whatever, right? You cannot get upset at me because I chose to go and get a 25-year-old woman. I'm 40 years old. I decided to go and get me a 25-year-old, right? Because I know that woman is in her prime, right? And I know that I will have a much easier time having kids with the 25-year-old compared to the 35-year-old or the 45-year-old, especially 45. Like 45, I ain't got no kids, but I want to have a family. My chances of being able to start a family with the average 45-year-old woman just ain't going to work out. We're going to be disappointed. We're just going to have to, go and adopt. We're going to have a foster child, which, ain't nothing wrong with having a foster child, but like, that's what we're going to probably have to do. Like, that's what we're going to probably have to do, baby. So like, even from a biological standpoint, like it just all makes sense. And I just like how, these women get upset over it. Like, let's be real. Like, my chances of being able to find me a woman right now in my 20s, I'm in my 20s. The chances of me being able to find a woman that's also in her 20s that's actually willing to build with me, it's highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely. The reality is that a lot of these women, if not majority of them, if not all of them, God damn it, they're at the finish line. They're waiting. They're waiting at the finish line. Some women might come across my channel. They might peep me out. They might think that I'm just a broke, disgusted bum. Some people think I am a bum. Some people think I'm just dead broke and I'm just a bum with no motion. I ain't got no car. I'm just walking. I ain't got no vehicle. I'm walking. I could buy a vehicle, not a great vehicle, but I could buy a little cheap used car. I just choose not to because I don't need to. You know what I'm saying? But some women, if not all women, like a lot of women will look at me like, I don't want to deal with him. He ain't got no car. He's walking. I don't want him. That's just the reality. That's just the reality, bro. That's how these women is playing the game out here. So that's the reality. So they're not trying to build. They're just at the finish line waiting for you to already be built. That's the reality. They're not racing to the finish line on your side. No, they're waiting at the very end of the goddamn finish line. That's the reality. That's what it is. So there's not too many options for me. You know what I'm saying? It's either, there's a couple options. I could go and settle. I could settle for something I don't even really want to be with. Okay, I could do that. I could put my head down, grind, and wait another 10 years or 5 years before I start dating. By that time, it's like, what am I gonna do? Why would I go searching out for a woman that's in the same age bracket as me when I'm a single bachelor with no kids? The only way that would work is if Like, kind of like, not at all, period. Like, that's not going to work, man. I mean, it can work, but I'm saying, like, why? Why should I do that? These same women, these same women that cry and complain over that shit, right? These same women, I guarantee you, these were the same women. They crying now because they're in their 30s and in their 40s. So they crying about it. But those are the same women as when they was in their 20s. Like, for example, when you look at a lot of the women in my age bracket in their 20s, from the ages of 20 to 29, the women in my age bracket, when you look at these women, I guarantee you, if I look at the women in my age bracket, a lot of these women, their prime years are almost over. Their prime years are almost over, but they're still in their 20s. So they're still in their prime and they living it up. They're having fun. They're able to be with almost pretty much any man they want to be with. If they want to go get a man who's older, and I guarantee you a lot of these women are messing with men in their 30s and 40s while I'm sitting here looking like a duck. I'm sitting here looking like a duck while these same women, they already out there messing with men in their 30s and 40s that already got their shit together. That's what they're doing. But once I reach that age and that level, those same women are going to turn around and cry and complain to me. Why? Why are you crying and complaining? Why are you crying and complaining? Why are you crying and complaining, man? Make it make sense. Because a lot of these women didn't do what they were supposed to do when they were in their prime. When they was in their prime, they were supposed to go and get them a husband, you know, go and do that, go and, get a relationship, have a relationship, start a family, do all of those good things. So that way, when you get out of your prime, when your prime is over, you have something to fall back on. That would have been the smart thing for you to do, but you didn't. A lot of these Western women, you know what they do during their prime years? Once they turn 18, 19, they go to college and they start having fun and turning up and having parties. That's what they do. And then when they're used up and their prime is over, they have nothing to fall back on. Nothing to fall back on. But as a man, when I reach my prime, it's a whole different ball game. I'm always going to have something to fall back on. I'm set for life. For the rest of my life, I'm good. And I can do whatever I want to do. I don't have to go and get married. I don't have to get a wife. I can just mess with a bunch of women, however many women I want, whatever type of woman I want, when and where I want, however I want. They don't like it when the tables turn, man. They don't like it. They do not like it. They do not like the tables being turned. That's just people in general. I ain't even just talking about this whole, gender thing. I'm talking about people in general. They don't like that. That's why these women are crying and complaining over that type of stuff, because they're seeing the tables turn. They're noticing that the men in their age bracket, as they got older, they turned the tables. They flipped it around on those same women that were running around with those older men that were already established. And they tore down the brothers that were in their age bracket, but they might have not had the best career or the most amount of money coming in. But as they got older, when they finally got on and got that good career, started that great business and, did all of that stuff, they flipped it around and they hate it. They hate it. It's just like that passport bro shit. It's just like that passport bro shit. And trust me, as somebody who's traveled the country, experienced different cultures, I know that foreign women, I'm not even going to say better, I'm going to just say different. Different in good ways. I ain't gonna say they better than American women, but goddamn, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just say I can see why the passport bro thing is a thing, and I don't even have to go on a plane to even know, because the foreign people are already here. So I already understand that their mindsets are different, their culture is different, they think differently, they just do shit different. They're just different. And I'm not gonna say better, but I'm gonna just say better for me, baby. It's better for me. And that's why they get mad. Because we know women have been doing this for a long time. Come to find out, I was just watching that movie the other night. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I'll probably go back and watch the whole thing. What was the name of the movie? How Stella got her groove back. Yeah, how Stella. And guess what? That movie came out in the 90s, right? And that's for real. Like, you do have a lot of women in the Black American community, and just women in general of other races too. Oh yeah, they even got some women out here in Louisiana who have foreign husbands, Jamaican husbands. Like, these women are getting foreign husbands. So why is it a problem if I want to get a foreign wife? Oh, and please believe the majority of the women that I'm going to be messing with in the future, if not all of them, will be foreign. Even if they're already here in the States, they might just be here on a green card or a visa or something. Even those foreign women, even the ones that are already here in the States, they could get it too. I'm messing with all foreigners. I'm messing with all foreigners. I mean, I'm only turning the tables on these women, right? That been doing it for so long and bragging about it. We're not bragging about it. I'm not going to say bragging about it. They've been smart about it because they've been slick with it. They've been doing it on the down low. But you see, men, they turned the tables around, but they didn't do it in a smart way. They got online and they bragged and boasted about it. That's the issue. As men, if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna do it, if we're gonna go overseas, or if we're just gonna date foreign women in general, because I'm just gonna date foreign women in general. I don't care where they at. As long as they're not a Western woman, we can get it on. I don't care where we located, you know what I'm saying? It could be local, it could be foreign, doesn't matter. As long as it's a foreign, non-Western woman, we can get it popping. If we're gonna